Did you know that after Title IX Amendment was passed in 1972, there was a 600% increase in girls' participation in sports? Sports have been one of the most important socio-cultural learning experiences the past couple of decades. And from playing sports, there are many benefits, and girls have benefited immensely from getting the opportunity to play sports. Many of you may be asking, what is Title IX? Title IX is a federal law that banned gender discrimination and opened the door for greater sport opportunities for girls. Ever since Title IX was created, it has increased girls' college attendance, women's full-time employment, and the chances of women making it into a traditionally male-dominant profession such as accounting, law, and veterinary medicine. From the Boston Globe and the New York Times, there comes a study conducted by researcher and professor at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School by Betsy Stevenson. Stevenson said, "Sports lead to more productive females of society." She proved this statement through her research in which she compared female sport participation before Title IX and after Title IX, as well as comparing female education levels and female employment. She did this comparison by each state, and what she found out was the states that required the greatest amount of growth in female sports, such as Nebraska and North Dakota, they actually saw the greatest amount of women participation in the workforce after Title IX. And the states that required the least amount of female participation in sports, such as North Carolina and Mississippi, they saw the smallest gains of women participation in the workforce. This study clearly shows the effects that Title IX had on women not only in sports, but in the workforce. The Boston Globe also states that 40% of the overall rise of employment of young women in recent decades can be attributed to the increased opportunity to play sports. There are many more benefits that come from playing sports than just a rise in employment and educational levels. The other benefits include better body image, higher self-esteem, higher confidence, lower drug use, and more trust in others. All these benefits come from playing on a sports team and being around people who enjoy the same things as you do. When you exercise, it's proven that you feel better about yourself because of the endorphins that are released in your brain. And after a good exercise, you're like, wow, I feel really good. And that increases your self-esteem, your confidence, and your body image. All those endorphins from just working out and playing a sport, just even an hour a day will release those endorphins and get you feeling better about yourself. And when you're passionate about a sport and about a sport you really care about and you're trying to be the best you can at it, everyone knows that using drugs and alcohol is not going to help your efforts in trying to get to your potential. In fact, it's going to hinder your efforts, and the process of getting to your potential will be a lot slower. So that's a huge benefit from playing sports, is the lower drug and alcohol use. And having more trust in people also comes from being on a team. When you trust that your teammates are doing the best they can and they're working as hard as they can because they have the team's best interest at heart, you're going to learn to trust them more, and you're going to form a deeper alliance with them because you know how hard they're working and you trust that they're putting their 100% best effort into whatever they're doing. There are also many skills that can't be learned anywhere else besides playing sports, such as teamwork, winning and losing, and learning how to put short-term gratification off for long-term rewards. You have to be on a teamwork to know how a team works. You all work together for that same goal. You all put in 110% effort, and you guys work together for that goal. Winning and losing is a huge thing, a life skill that you need to know. You need to know how to win gracefully and lose gracefully. If you don't know how to do that, that could really affect you later in life in the workforce if you don't get the position, or if you do get the position and you're all cocky and overconfident about it. A good example that shows how to put off short-term gratification for a long-term reward is, let's say you're at practice, and after practice your coach is like, we're going to do a little conditioning right now. Instead of putting it off and getting your gratification for not having to put in the extra work, if you put in the extra work and your long-term goal is to win the conference championship, that all those little extra work things you put in will add up to that one long-term reward of the winning the championship, the conference championship. In the New York Times, they discussed a study done by Robert Kastner in which they researched the long-term health benefits of playing a sport after Title IX and before, and what they found is that women who had participated in the sport had a 7% lower risk of obesity 20 to 25 years later after they were playing their sport. So knowing exercise is important, and playing in a sport will ingrain that into your brain, and you will realize down later in life that you need to keep exercising in order to stay healthy. And finally, from the Sequoia County Times, they talked about the iconic Nike ads of the 90s, and they discussed how they were right, the ads were right, and what the ads consisted of were a series of young girls exposing the benefits of sports competition. Like a commercial would be a girl saying, "If you let me play, I will be 60% less likely to get breast cancer," or "If you let me play, I will be less likely to get pregnant before than I want to." Nike also claimed that gaining self-confidence and self-esteem and avoiding abuse in relationships were also benefits of playing sports. Many people agree with Nike and support the claims that Nike made. For example, Lindsay Woody, a student at the local high school where this newspaper was published, said, "By playing sports, I have learned perseverance, hard work, and how to work with other people. I have learned how to handle criticism and use it to get better. These are all things that will prepare me for my life." This couldn't be said any better, because it is true that sports prepare you later for life, whether it be your life skills or just knowing how to do things better because you have the experience of teamwork and knowing how to win and lose gracefully and knowing how to be confident if you have an interview. It's just sports prepare you so much for your later life. Besides all the benefit that the studies have found, there are many more benefits that come from being on a team. You are surrounded by friends who support and encourage you, and you also learn how to handle discipline, especially from the coach. From the support and encouragement from your teammates, you learn how to build up self-confidence and self-esteem. And from the discipline from the coach, you learn how to be mentally tough, and you also learn how to take the criticism he's telling you and turn it into a positive, and you learn and listen from what your coach is telling you because he knows what he's talking about because he has more experience. So if you listen to him, he will be helping you, and you should realize that he's helping you and not just criticizing you. All the effects and benefits that come from women playing sports are constructive and all impact everyone in a positive way. I would strongly encourage every girl out there to play sports because of all the benefits it has. And I would encourage everyone to join because it is greatly, immensely helpful for your later life.